Okay, so we're starting with weight-based calculations. We're going to look at the first one here. And again, I always look at the last statement in the question that tells me how to set the problem up, what formula I'm going to need. So if it's asking me for how many mLs per hour I'm going to administer, this is a dose. And whenever you're calculating a dose, you need your desired dose over what you have on hand. So for this problem, you're going to need to take out a few things. The first thing is the weight, 198 pounds. The second thing is the actual order, which is 4 micrograms per kilogram per minute. And the third thing you will need here is what you have on hand. So we have that information written down, and we're going to go to the whiteboard now. And on the whiteboard, I'm going to start with my weight, which is 198 pounds. I'm going to divide that by 2.2. Now, the trick to this is leave everything in the calculator. Do not clear the calculator. And actually, if you learn this formula and you learn how to do this, you could actually do these questions in 45 seconds. Not that you want to rush through it, but you really can do them in that amount of time. All right, so we got 198 divided by 2.2, and that gives us a weight of 90 kilograms. Okay, now our doctor's order says we're going to administer 4 micrograms per kilogram per minute. Okay, so that means we have to take our 90 kilograms and multiply that by our doctor's order, which is 4 micrograms. And that should give you 360. All right. So now you have your doctor's order, which is 360 micrograms per minute. Okay. Now, what you have on hand is 250 milligrams per 250 mLs. All right, so you have to convert that micrograms into milligrams. You also are looking for, your answer has to be in mLs per hour. So you also have to convert that minute into an hour. So those are the 2 steps you have to do before you can move on here. I always start with this. So I'm going to go ahead and convert my 360 micrograms into milligrams, okay, by dividing it by 1,000, because we know we have to go to the left. Left, you're losing the love of your life. You're going to divide. Again, do not remove anything from the calculator. All right, so now what we have is when we divide this by 1,000, it gives us 0.36 milligrams per minute. Okay, so the next thing we have to do is we have to convert our minutes to an hour. So to convert 1 minute to an hour, what do? We multiply by 60, right? Because 60 minutes equals 1 hour. Okay, so now we have 0.36 milligrams. We have to multiply also by 60 because you have to multiply both sides by 60. So that should give you 21.6 milligrams per hour, right? Everybody with me still?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Now your milligrams are going to cross out because you got milligrams on the top, milligrams on the bottom. All right. And you have 250, so really you're done here. But go ahead and do the math. So if this were any other problem, you know, if you don't have 250, you have to calculate the rest of the math out. So now you're just going to take your 21.6, divide it by 250, and then of course you're going to multiply it by 250. And you're going to end up with 21.6 mLs per hour. Everybody with me?
Yes.
Everybody get to that point.
Yes.
Oh, I see where I messed up at. Minutes per hour. Okay.
Okay, we good there?
Yes.
All right, so let's go back to our other screen. Okay, is 21.6 there?
Yeah.
See, just like that, you are rock stars. It's not really hard. You just have to follow the steps. If you don't follow the steps, then you're always going to have a problem with this.
It looks like she's going over the same problems that we went over.
I'm sorry?
Good morning, Ms. Loesch. This Katrina. Someone is trying to find a Zoom link to get on here.
Okay.
You cut in. I'm sorry.
No, if you want to get somebody on, I'm just going to pause for a minute.
Can you resend the link, or should I forward it from my email?
You should be able to forward it from your email.
Okay.
It might be easier. Okay, so we're doing number 3. Remember, start with what does the statement ask you? This is a desired dose. So how would you set up the desired dose? Okay, here we go. So we have 298 pounds. Give me 1 second, guys. All right, 298 pounds we have divided by 2.2. What do we get for that?
135.45
grams.
Okay. So we're gonna take, I always just put the 135.45 and then I just put an underline under that because that just represents infinity for me, okay? Then you take the 135.45 and we're going to multiply that times our ordered dose, which was what?
30 micrograms.
30.
Okay, 30 micrograms. Okay, so now we're gonna we got 4,063.63, right?
Mhm.
And that's per minute, micrograms per minute, right? Is that what everybody got?
Yeah.
I
Okay.
got 463.5, but I guess that's okay because I still come up with the same answer.
No, it's not because you have to get to 4063.63. If you didn't get that, it's not going to come out right.
I got the same thing. I got 4,063.5 because I multiplied 135.45 times the 30 micrograms. And I also got the same thing. Are we supposed to be leaving more numbers than the 45 maybe?
So I told you don't erase anything from the calculator, right?
Okay.
So
Oh,
once
okay,
you
that's
do
why.
the
Okay.
298
That's why.
divide by the 2.2, whatever's left in there, you're going to multiply that whole number times 30.
Okay.
Okay.
Don't ever erase anything. Go all the way through.
Okay.
All right. So did you get to this number now?
Yeah, I have the number now when I did it that way.
Okay, so now we're going to divide by 1,000 because remember we have to take this to milligrams because we have 4 milligrams per ml on hand, right?
Right.
So we have to make this milligrams. So we're going to divide by 1,000. And that should give you 4.063 now. And this is milligrams now per minute. Okay. So now the next step is we're going to multiply both sides by 60 to convert our minutes to hour, right? So we're going to multiply our 4.063, whatever that rest of that number is, times 60. And that should give you 243.81. And then, of course, there's a bunch of numbers on after that, but I just write these numbers on the board, but I leave everything in the calculator. All right, and this is per hour now. Okay, milligrams per hour. So now our milligrams is going to cross out, right, to leave us with mLs per hour. We're going to take our 243.81 and divide that by 4. And then, of course, you would multiply times 1, which would give you the same answer, right? So you should have got 60.95, right? Blah, blah, blah. Everybody with me there?
Yeah.
Now we're going to round this. Using this 5, we're going to round this 9. Using this 9, I'm sorry. Using this 9, we're going to round this up here, okay? To 61.
Ms. Loesch, I have a question. It's probably, I know it's something simple, but I guess what I got mixed up on the test is at the end where it asks you, it said, put the nearest whole number. So being that it didn't say round, I didn't round up, but when it say nearest whole number, I should round.
You should round it to a whole number. There should be no decimal when you're supposed to have a whole number.
Okay. No, I didn't put a decimal. I just didn't round it up. Like I just left it as it was because it just said nearest whole number. It didn't say round.
But when it's telling you to take it to the nearest whole number, you have to round.
Okay.
Unless it's already in a whole number.
Mm-hmm.
If it's already in a whole number, then you don't do anything to it.
Okay.
Okay, so everyone was able to get 61 there?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Great. Okay, let's go to another one. All right, number 10. I'm going to let you guys do this on your own, see if you can get it. And you should get one of those answers that's up there. So you have the answers up there, right? You should be able to get to one of those answers. Can you see the question?
Yes.
Yeah. Question number 10, right?
Yeah. I just want to make sure I don't still have the whiteboard up. Sometimes I forget to bring the question.
Miss Loesch, you went back to the whiteboard.
Yep. You guys don't have your information out?
Oh, no, I got it. I just thought you wanted to know.
No, went back to the whiteboard because I'm going to work the problem out. Just so, in case anybody doesn't understand still. Okay, everybody was able to get to 46.4?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay, let's just start with the simple weight-based one here. Can you see the screen?
It's still on the whiteboard.
Can you see the screen?
Yes.
Okay, so let's just start with some simple weight-based ones, and then it should give us some other ones that are a little bit more difficult. So everybody familiar with how to do these, right? You just did something much more sophisticated than this, but I just want to switch back and forth because this way you don't get confused. You should be able to switch back and forth between problems. Just giving you a couple minutes. When you guys are done, you can let me know.
Done.
Okay, what'd y'all get?
1.8.
1.8.
Perfect. Trying to get to some more difficult ones. Let's see. Maybe it's this one. Yeah, I think it's this one. What'd you get for this one?
Is it going, are we rounding up or should it be 5.4?
Is that what everybody else got?
I didn't get that. I don't know what the heck I got. I got 338.
Okay, I got 338 too, both ways.
Yes, 338.
Okay. So let's go to the board for this one. Make sure everybody knows. All right, so I know I had 20.1 milligrams per 425 mLs. My ordered dose was 16 milligrams. Okay, so this is a 1 here. All right, so you could do a couple ways. You could do 16 divided by the 20.1. And then you're going to multiply that times your 425. And that gave me 338.20. All right. I mean, 0.30. Now, the other way you can do this is you can take the 20.1 and divide it by your mLs, which is 425. Okay, and then you're going to multiply that times 16. Wait a minute, I did that backwards. I'm sorry. My bad. 425 goes on the top. So when you do that, it tells you how many milligrams you have per ml, okay? Which came out to 21.144, and then you multiply that times the 16. You still should get 338. So that's how you double check yourself if you need to. But you can do it either way. Everybody with me on that?
Ms. Loach, can you go back to the problem again? So I could just
Yes.
read it to see if I misread something?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay.
Yeah, I was turning. It's not.
So the way you did it the first time, the 16 milligrams over 20.1, I guess because I'm just so used to formulas, but this isn't really a desire over half because you really want the patient to have the 20.1. So you can't even really think of that type of formula when you're looking at this problem.
So it's telling you to calculate in mLs per hour. Okay, so when it tells you that, it's really a desired over half. So what's your desired dose here?
Well, it's if the way I'm reading it would be the 20.1.
Me too.
But
Really,
we have
if you're
16.
infusing it at 16 milligrams per hour, that's your actual dose. But what you have on hand is 20.1 milligrams in 425 mLs.
Oh, okay. So that's what we have on hand, but how we want it to be administered is in the 16 milligrams per hour.
And
So
that's why I'm trying to show you
okay.
guys these ones, because they're written all different types of ways, no matter who writes them. Because most of the time, instructors don't write these dosage calcs. They grab them from a site.
Okay. So this is really what we want, because this is what we desire, and this is what we have. Okay. Okay. This is what's being infused. I got it now. Thank you.
Miss Loach, can you just explain that flip one more time? Because if I have this question in front of me on an exam and it says give patient, I'm going to automatically look at that and think that I want to give the 20.1. So what was your explanation?
So it says that you're going to infuse it at a rate of 16 milligrams per hour, right?
Yes.
When it says that, that's your actual desired dose, because it's telling you what you're giving it at. What you have on hand, it says give the patient 21 milligrams of dopamine in 425 mLs. That's telling you what you have on hand.
Okay. So
It's just not saying it in a way you're used to seeing it.
Right. Right.
But it's actually saying that you have 21 milligrams of dopamine in 425 mLs. Let's put our answer there and see if it's right. If it's wrong, then we got a problem, right?
Right.
All right, we had the right answer. We didn't put the 0.3, but we had the right answer because we got 338.3, right? Let me show you how they have it set up. That might help you. You know that that's your ordered dose, 16 milligrams per hour, because that's what you're giving it at. Otherwise, you're giving the wrong dose.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I see it now.
Okay. And what you have on hand is the 20.1 in 425 mLs. It's just the way they word it. So, you have to be able to figure out which component is what and put it together because, they word it all kinds of ways.
Yes.
All right, we go with this one. Let's go to another one. This one's the same way. This one's going to require more calculations. Why?
Because we gotta change the milligrams to micrograms.
Or other way,
change
either
the
way,
other way.
whatever works easier for you. I wouldn't change anything until I do the first part of the math. So, how do you want to change this? What's going to work for you best? So if you feeling like you want to change I would change myself micrograms to milligrams because I already know I have 19.1 milligrams in 498, right? So for me, I would just take my 10,305 divided by 1,000 and then put it on top of my 19.1 per 498. You with me?
Mm-hmm.
Want to do the conversion that's going to make it easier for you. I like smaller numbers, so that's why I would do it that way. So I don't get myself confused. All right, that should have gave you 10.305. So now you're going to take that over your 19.1, right? The other thing that does for you is now the number you need is already in the calculator. Okay?
I got 268.6 or 268.7. 268.7.
What you get, Maria?
I got 268.6 or rounded to 268.7.
Right.
Okay, yeah, that's what I got. Okay.
So again, for me, like the way I set these up just to make it easy, okay, I would just take the 10,305 micrograms, because I know I got to convert something here, divided by 1,000, and then divided by 19.1, and then multiply times 498. It's just that simple right in the calculator, and that's going to give you that 268. Anybody confused on that?
Got it. Mhm.
Okay, and that's what she's using to round up to a 7 here. Rock stars right there. Anybody still not getting that?
It's just as simple as reading the question, like you said.
Here's another one. You guys do this one on your own and give me the answer.
$35. I got 35.1, but I'm rounding, so.
Okay.
I
I
got that
mean,
as well.
usually with our questions, we tell you what we want you to round. Okay. But this is dopamine. So dopamine is a critical care medication most of the time. This is a vasoconstrictor and it's extremely powerful. So with these, you probably are going to want to round to the nearest 10th because you don't want to over medicate the client. Sometimes even to the nearest 100th, depending on where you're working at. If you're in ICU, it could be to the nearest 100th for these. So you might see somebody ask you to round one of these to the nearest 100 or the nearest 10th. Okay. Look at the problem on the screen. Can you see the screen? It says 34A.
Yes.
Okay. Now I want you to read what the question says here. What's it say?
Order is for dopamine, 10 milligrams per kilogram.
Stop it, nurse. Where are you supposed to be reading from?
Oh, how many micrograms per minute should the patient receive?
Okay, so this one's different from the other ones you did because this one's asking for micrograms per minute, right? So what does your order say? Dopamine, 10 micrograms per kilogram per minute. So what do you need to solve this problem?
Minutes.
The patient's weight and the order, right? That's it. You don't need what you have on hand because it's not asking you for mLs per hour. It's asking you for micrograms per minute. So you really have to read these questions. All right. So for micrograms per minute, you're still doing the same calculation we just did. You're just not doing it all the way out. So you need your weight. You're going to divide that by 2.2. What's your weight there?
44.09.
Remember, you're going to leave the whole thing in the calculator and you're just going to multiply that times 10. Okay, and that is your micrograms per minute because the order is 10 micrograms per minute. So per kilogram per minute, you got your kilograms, you got your order, right? And that's it for this problem.
That was it.
That was it for this one. Because what's it asking you for?
How many micrograms per minute should the patient receive?
So what did we get?
440.90.
90.
Okay, 440.9, okay? That's how you're going to write that. Oh, they rounded it up. Okay, make me a liar here. They rounded it up, okay? Which is another thing, like people will do different things with the rounding, and that's why usually with your math, I'll make sure that they put it in there if you're supposed to round it. All right, but everybody sees the answer here, right? We got the right answer. It's just they wanted it rounded. We didn't round it. Everybody go with me on that one?
Yes.
So that's the first step when you're doing it to convert it to mLs per hour. That's your first step. That's all that was. Here's another one. See if you can do it. Oh, wait a minute. That's the same one. All right, so this is the one where we got the micrograms per minute. They're getting the 441 micrograms per minute, and it's asking you to set the pump in mLs per hour. All right, so remember the steps for this one?
Yes, we're gonna divide the 441 over the 200 milligrams times the 250 mLs.
But don't we got to change? Don't we got to convert something?
Yes.
Change the micrograms to milligrams.
So first we're gonna let's take all our stuff out. So we got 97 pounds. We've got 10 micrograms per kilogram per minute. And we have 200 milligrams per 250 ml.
So because we already did the first part, we're changing the 41 milligrams.
You know, I want you to just do it the way we've been doing it.
Okay.
Okay? So you don't make mistakes. So let's go to the whiteboard. So we're going to take our 97 divided by 2.2. That gave us 44.09 kilograms. We're going to multiply that times 10. That gave us 440.9 micrograms per minute, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now we're dividing by 1,000 to make it milligrams. That should give you 0.440 milligrams per minute. We're multiplying by 60 on both sides to turn it into hours. And that should give you 26.45 milligrams per hour. And then we have to divide that by our 250. Or 200, I'm sorry, times 250. I got 33.06. What'd you guys get?
That's what I got.
That's what I
too.
got.
Okay, so let's go back to our screen. So for this one, I would write 33. They might do 33.1. Let's see. Okay, 33. Now here it is laid out for you, okay? So, whatever method works for you, if that method I'm showing you doesn't work, there's your dimensional analysis if you want to take a picture. Over on the right is ratio proportion, okay? I don't know what they did there, but it's not how I would do it, but a lot of steps there. Either way, you're going to have a few steps because you got a lot of conversions. Okay, so what's the question asking?
How many mg is the patient receiving per dose?
Okay, so the first thing is you have an order for 5 milligrams per kilogram. So you're going to take your weight, which is 220, divided by 2.2, and multiply that times 5 so you can figure out what your desired dose is.
So wait, is it just 500?
Should be. Everybody go with me on that?
I was about to go way deep for no reason.
Yeah, it just seemed like it would have been more
I
to
felt
it.
like I was missing something.
So if you took the 500 and divided by 500 and multiplied it by 100, that would tell you mLs per hour. And what it's asking you for is milligrams per dose.
Mm-hmm.
So you really have to read. Okay, there's your steps right there.
Excuse me.
Now they're asking for the IV pump rate. So here you already calculated your desired dose, right? Now you just have to put that over what you have on hand.
So it'll be 100 mLs per hour?
Correct. Everybody with me on that? Okay, I don't hear anybody saying no, so
Can you do that on the board?
okay, so here we had a patient that weighed 220 pounds, right? Was that right?
Yes.
His order was 5 milligrams per kilogram. So we took the 220, divided it by 2.2, and that should have gave us 100. Okay, so our order is 100. I'm sorry, that gave us 100 kilograms, and we're multiplying that times 5. And that gave us 500 milligrams, right? So
Yeah.
that was our desired dose. We're looking for mLs per hour. We have a desired dose of 500 on hand. We have 500 milligrams times 100 mLs. These are going to calculate, cross out, okay? And this is per hour. All right, so that gives us 100 mLs per hour it ends up with, right? We divide 500 by 500, which gives us 1 times 100 equals 100 mLs per hour. With me?
Yes.
Okay. Anybody not sure of that one still? Okay, here's the formula. I mean, they didn't really tell you much on there. Basically the same thing I told you, but I just showed you how you would actually work that out. Okay, so what's this one asking you?
How many milligrams is the patient receiving per day?
Okay, so you know that the patient is already receiving 100 mLs per hour, okay? You have 500 milligrams per 100 mLs. So that means for every 100 mLs he's getting 500 milligrams. It's infused over 1 hour every 8 hours. Okay? So if you're giving it every 8 hours, how often are you giving it?
3 times a day.
3 times a day. So he's getting it 3 times a day at 100 mLs an hour over an hour. So what is your total dose for the day?
But they want to know milligrams.
Okay.
So it should be
There's
1,500.
500 milligrams in 100 mLs.
Yeah, so it should be 1,500 milligrams. That is
Right.
including the
Everybody
data.
with me on that? Everybody see how she got that?
Yes.
Yes.
See, P at the 15 times the 3.
So those problems, you have to calculate how many milligrams we're getting per ml, and then how many mLs are we giving a day, which is 300 there, right?
Mhm.
Because we're giving it 3 times over an hour. And you already know it's 100 mLs per hour, which is equal to 500 milligrams for each injection. So that's 3 times 1500.
Oh, geez, they want to know how many micrograms.
Okay, so we got to start with a couple of things here. Okay, they're asking for micrograms per kilogram per minute. So you know that you have a given here, all right? You have what you have available is 400 milligrams in 250 mLs. So how many micrograms do we have in 250 mLs?
0.4.
Okay, so you took that 400 and divided it, but we're going to micrograms. So if we're going to micrograms, are we going to the left or the right?
Oh, so I had to multiply it. Wait. 1 milligram equals 1,000 micrograms.
So we're going to the right, so it'd be 400,000.
So now we got to figure out how many micrograms per each ml. Okay, I got to figure out what I did wrong here, so I'm trying to figure this one out. We're gonna look at this one to see what they did. 'Cause I got to that 2000, but something I didn't do right there then. Did that part. I took the 75, divided that. Okay, they kept it in milligrams. That's the part I didn't do. I got to the 2000, but then I didn't divide the by the patient's weight. So that's why I got a different number, because I put the 2000 in there, right? You see, I put 2000 in there, so the last step I didn't do. All right, so
Can you show us on the board what you did up until the 2000?
yep. So let me go back and do my steps again so I have them right. Okay. All right, here we go into the whiteboard now. So you have to take all the numbers out of this problem, okay? So write all your numbers down. Okay, so the first thing I did was I took the 400 and I multiplied it times 1,000 because I wanted to convert my milligrams to micrograms. And that gave me 400,000 micrograms, okay? And then I divided that by 250 because it's in 250 mLs. Okay, so I needed to divide that in order to figure out how many micrograms per ml. And that gave me 1,600. Then I took 75 because it's running at 75 mLs per hour. And I have to get to minutes. So you would divide your hour by 60. Okay. To get 1 minute, you're also going to divide the 75 by 60. And that tells you that it's running at 1.25 mLs per minute. All right. I have 1,600 micrograms per ml. So I took the 1,600 and I multiplied that by my 1.25. That gave me 2,000. Okay, and then I had to divide that by my weight, which is 95. And that gave you 21.05 or 21.1. They just rounded it to 21. Let's see if they give us another one. And that's their math there. Okay.
Woo, Miss Lotion, you said we should be able to do this math in under a minute per question.
Well, you probably won't. I probably wouldn't give you one like this.
Oh,
But I'm just going through math. You should be able to do any math. You may get ones like this on a test. You know, on a regular test, because I don't know what level they're giving you the math at for your tests.
okay. Excuse me.
All right, so this one's asking you for micrograms per minute. So remember how we did the micrograms per minute one? Remember, you didn't need what was on hand here, right?
Mhm.
Because you just need your weight and what your order is here.
Oh, excuse me. So they should get 275 micrograms per minute.
Is that what everybody else got? I didn't do the math.
Yes.
That's what I got.
Okay, what was it?
275 micrograms per minute.
Here you go, rock stars. You're learning it now. You're getting there. All right, so now this is the mLs per hour one. So now you got to go all the way through the steps there. Okay, so let's see if you can do it. Remember, follow all the steps. Don't use the 275 micrograms per minute that they give you there. Just go through the steps. Because on the test, you're not going to get that. Okay, all you're going to get is the first part of that question, and you will see these types of questions on there. Okay, so we had a weight of 121. Our order was for 5 micrograms. So now we have 275 micrograms per minute. We're going to convert it to milligrams. We're going to multiply both sides by 60.
Hello.
I'm sorry, that should be milligrams there, not micrograms, because we did the conversion.
$16.5.
And then what we have on hand is 1,000 milligrams times 100 mLs. Milligrams crosses out. And what'd you get? Is that what you got?
Yes,
1.65.
I did, but are we rounding it or are we leaving it?
So it says rounded to the nearest tenth. So that would be what? 1.7, right?
7. Yes.
Rock stars. All right, now we're going to move on to some heparin. How are you feeling about those? Make sure you go here to that rn.com and you can practice them. And the nice thing about this site is, you know, I sent you this in the email, is the answers are there. So you can see if you're getting the right answer. Okay, let's start with number 3.
You on a whiteboard.
Okay, can you see it now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so it's asking how many units per hour the patient is receiving. Okay, so for this one, remember, you have what you need right in the statement there. So first you have to calculate how many units per ml. Okay, so how many units do we have per ml?
50.
50. And then it's saying you're going to get 36 mLs per hour. So if there's 50 units per ml and you're giving 36 hours, you're going to take your 50 and multiply that times your 36.
$1,800.
1,800.
Okay, so it says the patient's receiving 36 mLs per hour. We know that we have 12,500 units per 250 mLs. When we do the math, that gives us 50 units per ml. We're going to multiply that times 36, which gives us 1,800 units. Okay?
Miss Rose, I did it a different way and still got 1,800.
That's all that matters. 1,800 is the correct answer there. We have it up there. So if you did it a different way and got it, you're still a rock star. Whatever works for you. You just have to remember, what formula do you have to switch to? Okay, look at number 4. It's the same question. Let's see if everybody can get this answer.
Got 2,900.
Got a 2,900.
Perfect. Okay, let's look at number 6. Telling you what your new dose is going to be. So that's what you have to calculate first, okay? Because that's going to be your desired dose. And then you're going to put that over what you have on hand to get the new flow rate. All right, so you're going to take your patient's weight, which is 129.
What is the
Your order, which is 24 units per kilogram per hour. And what you have on hand is 25,000 units for 250 mLs. Everybody got that written down?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we got 129 divided by 2.2.
$58.63 times.
Okay, that gives us 58.63. Leave the whole number in there. We're multiplying that times our 24 units.
So that 147.
And then we're going to divide that by what we have on hand. Times our 250 mLs. Is that what everybody got?
Yes.
Yeah, I did.
Okay, we go with that one? Was it up there? 14.1. They just rounded it to 14.1. You see your answer though, right? Or am I
Closest
put on
one.
the whiteboard? All right, anything else you guys want to go over?
Just the type of problems that's gonna be on the quiz on Monday.
So likely what you're going to see is like that heparin one we just did. A couple of those micrograms to per minute to milliliters per hour. So like 3 and 4, you'll see questions like that. You'll probably see something like number 1. Let's look at number 2. You might see something like that. So this is asking you how many milliliters per dose. You have 50 units per kilogram ordered. So all you have to do there is take your 50 times your 93 to get your desired dose. And you put that over what you have on hand. Which should have gave you 0.93.
So Ms. Loach, on Monday, we supposed to get a paper version this time. Are we gonna be provided calculators, or we can use our calculators on our phones?
You'll probably be able to use your calculator on your phone because they probably won't bring calculators to the site. So they should be able to put you in airplane mode and let you use your calculator on your phone. I'll reach out to the instructors. I'm actually meeting with one of your instructors tomorrow to create the test. So any other questions? Number 3 is another one that you might see. All right, so 3 and 4 are basically, these are all the same types of questions. You'll probably just have like maybe 3 or 4 on there that are 2 heparin, 2 of the ones like number 1, and the rest are just going to be regular dosage questions. But you have to remember how many mLs is in a tablespoon, how many mLs is in a teaspoon. Because you might see something like that on there.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. All right, anybody have any other dosage calc questions for today?
No.
Oh, man.
All right, guys, practice. You have plenty of questions you can practice on, all right? Practice, practice, practice. That will make you perfect.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Ms.
luck.
Loach.
All right,
Ms.
thank you.
Loach.
Have a great weekend, guys.
Ms.
See ya.
Loach. Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. Take care.